Okay, well, welcome back to the Nth Degree. And as you can see, Donna and I are just continuing the conversation. You won't have seen us for a week, but we just turned it off and back on again. So
Yes, yeah, we wanted to make this two different things. So hello, we're still in the same clothes and all that. We're still in the same river here together. So
exactly.
but Donna said, I want to talk about this topic of discipline. Because now don't turn us off. You just heard that word and you're like, oh, groan.
Discipline is worship and your destiny is worth your discipline. Just get that said right off.
Yeah. And for those of you who have trauma from previous eras of discipline where you were forced like slave labor to do your discipline, you can ask the Lord to heal that part of you because it's a thing. It's a thing. And until I got healed of that, I couldn't view discipline as a good thing. So we're not talking about discipline as
punishment,
judging you and calling you up to be judged. We're talking about personal disciplines, principles that you've decided to adopt for a season that you have a goal connected with.
Either that or just calling yourself up to a higher standard for yourself, a higher standard of excellence of how you're going to operate on the world as a son and then a king, and it just requires more discipline, and it requires some up leveling of your thought processes and of your actions and how you behave and how you react and all of that stuff. So it's all good. It's all good. It's all growing.
Yeah, it's all really good. And we're talking about it now because it's the first of 2023. And Bralynn has done some stuff, and I don't know why this happens. Maybe it's just cultural. If it is, okay, fine. I'm not gonna fight the culture on this, but everybody parties hard in December, and then in January they get to the gym, right? I mean, it's a thing. So as I've been watching myself in this cycle, and I want to remind everyone, you're a secular being. So go with it. You'll find that going with these secular rhythms actually puts you in alignment with what God has created on earth. He created the shorter days in the winter and the longer in the summer. That's a cycle. And so you guys know all this. Biohacks on YouTube will tell you all that, but just go with it. Don't fight it. Sometimes we fight it, and that's not probably going to be beneficial to us. So
yeah, as a gym rat, I loved February. I had the gym to myself. I actually took pictures and videos. Those were always my favorite times. Like, look, and it would be a whole sea of all of my choice of treadmills and ellipticals, anything I wanted, because there was zero other people there. Love February.
Okay, I want to share with our audience some things that I've been doing with disciplines and how that all came about.
You go first, and then I'll go.
I want you to go first, actually. Oh, because you did a big thing.
I did? I didn't think it was that big.
Your first of the year fast.
Oh, well, yeah, that was the first fruit, dedicating the first to the Lord kind of a thing. Jesus said that the bridegroom is here, we're feasting, but when he leaves, his disciples will fast. So it's not an if a fast, it's a you will fast. So I kind of follow that principle and donate, whatever, offer, submit my first of the year to the Lord. And so I did a 5-day only bone broth fast. So what that looks like nutritionally is probably, less than 200 calories a day or whatever. Just, bone broth is like 40 calories, and I may have had 3 or 4 cups a day. I don't know, whatever. So that's what my first week was. And then I decided that on Mondays, which is essentially so let me just back up a second. Since 2019, I've been doing what people call intermittent fasting. What I call is I'm not hungry yet. So
I call it that too.
Yeah, because I don't like to.
And I do it, and I pay real close attention to the signals my body's giving.
Yeah.
And sometimes my signals get crossed because I'm not hungry, I'm thirsty, etc.
Yeah.
Go take care of that, and then I can go a few bits longer. But yeah, health disciplines like that. That's what I want to talk about today.
Yeah. So that's at the time, it was a health discipline, as far as I was using about a 14-hour fast every day. And now I just bumped it up to 16. So I'm doing 16/8, and it could be anywhere between 16 to 18.
Mhm.
So, but now, because of the research that I've been doing, I know you've been doing it too, on longevity, and really staving off, not putting your body in a place where it can even house disease. I realized that, wow, the fasting and eating less often is absolutely huge. It's absolutely critical. It can extend life. It can extend health span. It can, you won't be able to be susceptible to disease. So I'm doing it for that. And so that is why now I have also said that I'm going to do Mondays. I'm going to do a 40-hour fast on Mondays, which is essentially not eating from Sunday night until Tuesday at noon, which is my cutoff for my regular, fast time. So we'll see how it goes. I'm going to definitely do it for January. I already have 2 down, so I might as well there's only 2 more to go. So we'll see how it goes. If I continue it past January, I do. If not, but the thing that I've disciplined into my life now is the 16/8 intermittent fasting, or Berlin's terms, I'm just not hungry yet.
Mhm.
Or when it
Yeah,
comes
I
to
also heard you say that you challenged yourself a little bit by you bumped that up.
I did. I
14.
challenged myself, but
Mhm.
I'm pretty good with being disciplined over my body. When I'm in the mode of discipline, I can be really, really good. When I'm, like I mentioned earlier, when I'm not in the mode of discipline, I can be really, really bad. So
Yes,
I'm so far from perfect.
I want to talk about that because sometimes have you ever felt I'm just not in the mood to be in a disciplined
Oh yeah,
frame of mind, and it's
absolutely.
a real thing. And it's
It
a real
is.
thing. I watched myself this past year as we moved in the autumn, and we moved to this new house and all this stuff, and all of my disciplines that I had very ingrained in my house that I lived in for 35 years, they went out the window. And I was left feeling like I was jumping from iceberg flow to iceberg flow, not really having a steady thing,
Yeah.
until I realized that this could be very good for me. And when I flipped my mind about how to think about it, I began to thank the Lord that I didn't have any disciplines in this new house. They hadn't formed yet, and that was okay. In other words, it was almost a backward reverse fast from all the other things. And what it did was it gave me a rest period to kind of analyze my motivations, and to find that some motivations were ready, they were ready to be set down. Some motivations were, I was too hard on myself in certain areas. I had fallen into instead of engaging with Papa's love for me in that discipline, I had engaged more in asceticism in that, where I was too strict. And when I started relaxing about that, I could feel my desire to gain a discipline, a new flavor of one in that area come back to me.
You
And
know, go finish
I
that,
was
because
just
that just
like,
totally brought something to my mind. Go ahead.
wow, this is working for me. So yeah, go ahead, Bralynn.
No, that just reminds me. I mean, it is a proven fact. They've done clinical studies that if you have a cookie on a plate in the middle of the room and you say, don't eat that cookie, and you have to walk by it all the time, don't eat that cookie, and don't eat that cookie. Like, you're going to want to eat that cookie, right? But if you just cover it up, throw a piece of paper on it, whatever, you're not going to eat the cookie, right? It's not going to be a thing. So if you can change your mindset and shift yourself, which is what you did by deciding that this is
Yes,
no longer going to be, I have to do this, but now your body can choose to do it.
right. And we go through cycles of our time. We get back to cycles. We go through season cycles. We go through lifetime cycles. We go through these things, and they're important to pay attention to because they're for a good purpose. They can be very beneficial. In the life cycle of life, you do lose loved ones. You don't want to lose loved ones prematurely, and for those who have, you have my sympathy. but letting that life cycle of life help you set for yourself the current disciplines, because you're aware of the life cycle. This is why we have an interest in longevity, because we are seeing that people are living way longer than they used to. I want to press that envelope a little bit. I want to be one of those humans that press that envelope, but I don't want to live longevity bedridden. I want to live longevity active, right?
Health span.
The health
This is
span.
your
And
lifespan.
that really goes into a lot of different conversations that we would all love to have, but
Right. And we will on a different show.
but
It's
keeping
coming.
it back to discipline. So for me, I heard you talk about your fast. I knew that. I watched myself all through December. I watched myself since we moved to this house. I began to ask the Lord. Well, my husband and I kind of organically just fell into an afternoon walk. And then I realized, oh, actually, that is a longer walk than I was taking in my other house. And that was good. And my husband's now retired. There's a cycle, right? And so I was saying, what's the beneficial cycle about this that I can lean into? And I discovered that he often helps me pace better than I was walking by myself. So there was a benefit and a new discipline. Anyway, I have a friend who, this is a little bit of a long story, but I appreciate her because she will check in with me and we talk about a number of things, health included, spiritual things included. But anyway, I have an Apple smartwatch. And so for almost a year and a half, maybe 2 years, I took it off and I wasn't wearing it. I had my reasons at that point. And recently she said to me, something, the number of steps it counts because you're on your watch. And I thought to myself, oh, wow, this is circling back again for me, Lord. And I think you're in this. And so I had to have a little talk with my soul, because all my reasons for setting my watch down, I had to deal with them now. But I found I could, and I did. And I got my watch back on, and we share back and forth, our number of steps. We don't do it religiously, but we both do that. Anyway, it was just a moment of seeing a new discipline and a new flavor of that discipline come back to me, because I do believe that walking is a God-given gift, and to walk outside on the planet, that's my desire. A treadmill, second best, but good too. And anyway, it was one of those things. And so just today, I was like, I'm going to do a new thing. I feel this rising up organically in my being that I'm going to take 2 walks a day instead of 1, so I can get my number of steps up. The reason that has come is because it's January and I want to be a little more active, because I've got all this summer to look forward to, right? So I feel like there's just things that we ping off of each other, our friendships, our engagement with heaven. And also this, I don't know if you guys do this, but I have learned to do this. I've become a very big proponent of watching where God is leading. And, Holy Spirit leads so well. Sometimes we miss it because we're not watching. And I've become very keen to watch what is organically happening. And I have found that 2 prayers I had before the Lord just this week, it's only Tuesday, 2 prayers that I've had before the Lord about maybe 3 or 4 weeks got answered. And you won't believe this, they got answered while I was on a walk, doing this new discipline that I felt like I needed to engage in. And I just was like, you're so good, Papa. It's like you're patting me on the head, well done, daughter. Because I got 2 major things answered while I was engaged in this thing I felt he was drawing me to be more active with walking. Isn't that wild?
Yeah. And I just want to congratulate you for getting outside and doing that, because our bodies are literally connected to the sun. We have receptors in our eyes that bright light won't do. It has to be the sun to set our circadian rhythms and other things of our life. So that's really good. And, they say you should spend 2 hours outside every day. I'm not sure that that's doable for everyone, especially in the frozen tundra
Right.
states
Yeah.
or
And for
regions
those,
of the world.
if
But
there were 3 feet of snow outside, I'd be in a gym, right?
yeah, right.
I'm in the city, so
Yeah.
and we're having a mild January, very mild January. So I'm going to take advantage of that. And once again, though, do you see some of that is also a cycle, having a mild winter versus a very cold winter, and taking advantage of the cycle that is present. It's about being connected to the present now, while you're also connected in spirit to the goings on of the heavenly realms. Because let me tell you, there was a week where we had some strange weather, and I was pressing into the heavenly realms to say, as a child of God on the earth, what do you need me to pray for this weather pattern? Because this doesn't feel right. It doesn't seem right. But I'm checking with you in heaven to find out, is this you? Is this heaven, or is this something else? And that's a whole nother conversation. But
yeah. So coming back to discipline a second, I taught in Shekinah school a couple of weeks ago, the Shekinah Business School, and we talked about discipline because you have to make it work for you. You can't adopt someone else's discipline.
You have to make it work for you.
Exactly.
Now, you can copy somebody's template, but you've got to personalize it.
So the 3 things that you have to do for you, and I used to teach on dashboard years ago. I had a dashboard. It was one of my signature talks because so many people in business don't have their systems and processes in place, and a dashboard keeps you on track with your KPIs. So anyway, a discipline, you have to make it meaningful. What's meaningful to you? Don't choose something that's meaningful to someone else or that you would like to be meaningful to you, but what really is meaningful to you on your destiny scroll. What is meaningful to you? So choose something that makes sense. And then it's got to be easy. You cannot make a goal or a discipline or an accountability or a guardrail of any kind that's onerous. You've got to make it. This is super simple, simple. And I don't have my prop here. I had a chicken timer because you've got to make it fun.
Yeah.
You have to gamify it, because then you're going to look forward to competing with yourself, right?
It's so true. Okay. So truth be told, I downloaded an app, right, that gamifies my tracking of my steps, of my, of my water during the day. And I used to do this way back, but apps have gotten really good, really easy. They've simplified, and it's simplifying my life, and otherwise I wouldn't do it. And so, but it's fun. And I like to track stuff like that if it's fun and easy. So yeah.
So the first part of discipline is, what are you going to focus on? What is the focus going to be? And actually do focus. We're not trained to focus. We're trained to multitask, which doesn't serve our brain at all. That's not how the brain works. So choose what you're going to focus on, and then create this discipline system, the guardrails of how you're going to track it to keep yourself accountable, make it meaningful, easy, and fun. And then the next component is consistency. You have to do it past the time when you're bored of doing it.
Yeah. And in order to do that, here's the spiritual side of that. In order to do it past that, you have to pull it out of the spirit realm. You have to, faith is substance. You have to make that substance. You have to see that substance, design it in the spirit, use the canvas of your imagination, and see yourself doing it. I've already started seeing myself do this to the end of February. So the end of February, I will reevaluate, but I am going to do this discipline to the end of February. And I'm seeing it. I'm talking about it. I'm saying it to myself. I'm saying it to people. And I don't say it to people for them to be the accountability. I'm saying it because when I say it, the frequency of my mouth pulls it out of the unseen realm and makes it the substance of that thing I'm looking at. And it becomes what I do.
Right.
And it's so central to life that we learn that this is how living on planet Earth can work.
Right. And that's called future pacing. When you put yourself and imagine your future of what this is going to be like in your future, that will help draw your current person to that
Yes.
decided future of what you co-created with the Lord.
And it's
So,
powerful because it also draws other people.
Right. Draws the
draws
resources that you need.
So powerful. And it's not, to me, this is the abundant life that Yahweh desires human to walk in. And we got a little, sidelined when Adam took up the wrong tree. But that tree of life is the life essence, the life frequency, the life thing that I want to feed from, want to eat from. In Jesus, that's possible. And so opening that portal, knowing that I am a portal, I have access, engaging that portal and making that part of who I am makes me, I don't know how to finish that sentence. It makes me just freshly realize this is the walking out the kingdom. Me being me like that.
Okay, so one other thing, I would love to see your comments, what you're going to be disciplined about. But one other thing is, don't try to do everything at once. I'm going to have a spiritual discipline. I'm going to have a relationship discipline. I'm going to have a physical discipline. I'm going to have an eating discipline. I'm going to have an exercise discipline. I'm going to have a breathing discipline. I'm going to have whatever. Stop. Just stop. Don't try to do everything at once. Baby steps and layer by layer by layer. Some of this stuff I have been doing for so long. I laugh with the counting of the steps because I think about how many pedometers I went through. I mean, if I would have collected them over the years. Exactly. You snap it to your waistband or whatever, and you do your walking, and oh my gosh, I did that so long. And I had everything down to a science. I had to get 6,000 in at work so that at my workout I can finish and get up to 14 or whatever it was. Oh my gosh. Layers, you guys.
Your goal is your goal.
Your goal is your goal, and we're not comparing to anyone else.
Don't make your goal level somebody else's goal level, and
exactly.
don't make it too hard. Make it something that you can achieve.
It's got to be, yes, exactly. Doable for you, gives you a little stretch, gives you a little competition, gets your juices wiring for a little bit of gamification. You can
always give yourself a mini challenge, in there. Oh my gosh, there's so many things to talk about this. I want to talk about like accountability real quick.
That's exactly the next bit.
Yeah, because sometimes you really do need an accountability. So sometimes a tracker, electronic device can be your tracker. That can be your accountability. Right. Sometimes a friend, but be careful of that, because sometimes the friend becomes the ruler, and you don't need that.
Or the friend will let you slide because they're your friend.
Or the other side of that, right?
Exactly.
So, and there goes the friendship, right?
Right.
Oh gosh. but it is good for you to have an accountability. Holy Spirit can also be your accountability. But here's the other thing: you must live by grace.
Yeah, exactly.
Life happens.
Right.
Unexpected things are going to happen. That's part of our life in this world. And so go with the flow. Good. And give yourself some grace. You'll get back to it.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Wow. So, whatever systems or processes you put in place, I want to hear about it. I want to hear what you're doing. What's going to be the new thing you're going to be disciplined? And don't give me 17 things, because I'll say, there's science, there's research. When people show there, and literally, I think the number that they used in the study that I'm thinking about was 11. Some people had 11 goals. They finished none of them. But when they only had 3 goals, they met 2 of them.
That's awesome, isn't it? That is
exactly awesome. So don't try to do this. And actually, if you want to do a mini challenge and do it for a set amount of time, that's a great place to start. But where in your life do you seriously want to up level? And this is who I'm going to be. Who are you becoming? Where this discipline is just part of you. And that's kind of where I'm pressing into, well, I'm going to be a person who doesn't eat as often as I used to.
Yeah.
you know?
And have fun learning your own wiring in some of
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
fun recognizing, wow, I always give myself a break in this, and maybe I'm gonna do that less, like,
Right.
yeah, are you like that? I find I'm like that. Sometimes I'll go, oh, I earned it, and so then I'll take a break on something, and there goes my discipline. And so
Oh,
go ahead.
that reminds me of another thing. If you fall off the wagon, all is not lost. You
Right.
haven't failed. Just get back on the wagon.
Just get back on the wagon. Yeah.
Exactly.
That's the grace.
That's one thing about dieting. Like, oh, I ate the wrong thing at breakfast. Well, screw it. I better eat bad the whole rest of the day. We'll start again tomorrow. Like, no, and no. No.
Or as my granddaughter says, no. She's only 21 months, so.
Oh, funny. Yeah. So no, just give yourself the grace and get back on. Just do it. Do it again.
All right, we've been around the whole world here, so we're gonna land the plane, and we'll talk to you guys later. And do comment. We're very interested to know what you think about all this. Okay, talk to you later.
Sounds good. Okay, Donna at dwellhouse.net, Bralynn at spiritcenteredbusiness.com, and we will see you next week. Bye-bye.